I want to talk some today from this thought: preparation precedes your blessings. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you have to do something before your blessings come. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Preparation precedes blessings. I know that we all want blessings of God. I know that every time we pray, we're saying, Lord, bless me. Do this for me, or do the other for me. I need a blessing. I need a miracle. I need a blessing. But the word is today, preparation precedes blessings. You have to prepare yourself to be blessed. And a lot of time we miss our blessing is because we are not prepared to receive the blessing. To prepare is to make ready beforehand for some purpose, use, or activity. Is to prepare yourself. You know, we make preparations for a lot of things. We prepare ourselves, thinking in terms of one in particular, the wedding day. You know, that when people are going to join themselves in holy matrimony or their wedding day, there's a lot of things that has to be done. The invitations have to be sent out, and the flowers of choice, and the music, who's going to sing this song and this particular song that I really want on my wedding day. And also the bridal party, those that are going to participate in the wedding. You have to make contact with them to make sure that your bridal party is arranged and you make your selection, even of the reception, and many, many more things you have to do in order to prepare for that big wedding day. Even going to school, you have to prepare yourself. You just don't go through 1st through 12 on through college without preparation. There's preparation that has to be made. I ain't getting nobody in here. And so it is with God. Preparation precedes the blessings. This woman here was in a situation, and she didn't know how they were going to pay the debt. Her husband had died, and he was a good man. He was one that feared God, and he had done a lot of good things. But he had passed on, and the way the creditors operated in the day was that you would have to give what you had, and she didn't have anything but her sons. They had come to get her sons to work this debt off. And telling how many years that they would have to work, may I paraphrase, on his farm, and many miles away from mom and many miles away from home. They would go, and they had to be a slave to work off this debt. But what she did was she knew that help came from the man of God. And she went to the temple, and she went to the man of God, and she inquired and told him what was going on in her life and what had happened. And what he said was, what do you have in your house? You see, she had something, but it was not sufficient. She says that all I have, I don't have any money, but all I have is just a little oil. Just a little oil is all that I have. And so what he did was he told them to go and send your sons out to borrow vessels. And not a few, just get many of them, because God is going to work a miracle. What I'm trying to get over to you today is that preparation had to be in place. She had to prepare in order to receive the blessing from God. She had to make provisions. And so a little oil, I'm sure that with a little oil in all of these vessels, she looked at that, and that was not something that really made sense. How could all of these vessels be filled with such a little bit of oil? But I'm sure that she didn't question what the prophet said. She did not question it. She was obedient in making preparations in order to be blessed. I ain't getting nobody in here. And so it is that she went in and said, now I want you to go in and close the door up on you and your sons with this little oil in all of these bottles. I don't know whether they were gallon jugs or 2-gallon jugs or quart bottles. I don't know, but it was a huge number of them. It was many, I'm sure, that they could get in the room, and they packed some in the other room, and they packed some in another room, but they were all in the house. And so he said, just start pouring. And when they began to pour, what happened really, the bottles ran out. The oil did not run out until the last bottle was filled. What I'm saying today is that she made preparation before the blessing. And we have to make preparation before the blessings that God have in store for us. No oil until the vessels were gathered. And so, therefore, she needed something for God to work with. And God always wants to use us some way, somehow, for him to show up. If God didn't use us, we wouldn't understand how he blessed folk. There are so many folk right today is waiting for God to bless them, and they have not prepared themselves to receive a blessing. We have to prepare ourselves in order for God to bless us. Number one is we have to expect a blessing. If you expect to receive something from God, look out. Something is going to happen. You may not understand how it's coming, but if we show up with just a little something, God will take that little something and work with it. I said, God will take that little bit that we have and work with that. Listen, all of us, if you got anything today you didn't have but a little bit, some of y'all ain't got, some of us ain't got but a little bit right now. But that's all we need is just a little bit, and God will work that little bit that you have. I ain't getting nobody in here. There's a lot of folks sitting around waiting on to get it. And you looking over what God want to work with, what you already have. You say, well, this ain't about nothing, and this is not about nothing. That's what about nothing. God want to make something out of you, nothing that you think is nothing. I ain't getting nobody in here. And so it is. God is not looking on the big side of the picture. He's looking on the little side of the picture. That means when you don't have this and you don't have that, God wants us to prepare ourselves for the blessing and turn it over to God, and he'll take that little bit that we have and multiply it and work a miracle with that little bit that you think that is not sufficient. It is just right in the hands of God. And so it is. Preparation precedes blessings.